Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast unit-by-unit review of the Drukhari Codex. We look at the next unit in the series, the Sslyth, bodyguards to the Archon's snake mercenaries. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast unit-by-unit review with me, Skari. If you don't know who I am by now, shame on you. And if you just tuned in and you'd like to tell your friends, click the cool little share button or become a part of our notification squad by clicking that little bell thing. Apparently that's a thing that you're supposed to do. So, as we climb the ranks of internet fame, let's continue with one of my favorite segments on the channel, Unit by Unit, by me, Skari. We're talking about the Drukhari Codex, and we're continuing our look at the Court of the Archon miniatures. We've taken a look at the Lamian, we've taken a look at the Medusa, and today we look at one of my favorite models, the Sslyth. And the Sslyth is a snake person thing that are direct bodyguards to the Archons in the Dark City. So, let's dive in. This is a two-part video, as always. The first part, I talk about the lore behind the unit itself, where it comes from, a little bit of backstory, and then we look at its statistics and a little bit about how to use it in-game to help you, a fellow budding Archon, clawing your way up into real space raid fame, using it appropriately for both narrative and competitive play. So, the Sslyth, double S, just in case you were wondering. Excuse me. Most Drukhari make rather dubious bodyguards due to their treacherous nature and unquenchable selfishness, aka all Drukhari are selfish and they make terrible bodyguards. You wouldn't want somebody that wants to kill you and replace you to be your bodyguard. Not really. Archons, therefore, often employ the more reliable alien mercenaries that inhabit Comra to protect them from inevitable coups. Though these bodyguards hail from all across the galaxy, favored amongst them are the Sslyth, hulking serpent-bodied warrior fiends, whose race fell to the temptations of unbridled excess millennia ago. They were actually part of the Fall. Sslyth have been around for a long time. Having two sets of arms, Sslyth mercenaries sport enough guns and blades to easily make a mess of any assassin or would-be usurper. And their insensibility to pain makes them slow to give away secrets, so they be captured by one of their master's rivals, their torturer. They are resistant to torture, which is pretty cool. But their greatest asset are their quick reflexes, which allow them to pounce in front of an attack that would fall on their employer. So they can jump in front of blows and stuff because they're super fast. And, considering they work for the Drukhari, being praised for their quick reflexes, they must be like super, super fast. One of the coolest models in the range. I love the Sslyth. Sadly it's only one model that GW produces, but now with the Daughters of Cain that have like the snake ladies and things like that, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of options to convert them now and to kind of change the poses, and you can get really creative or make a counts as cool mercenary bodyguard for your Archon. If you have any that you've converted or you like, leave a comment down below with a link to pictures or something like that so we can see what your conversion looks like. I read all the comments. It would be really cool to see some inspiration from the rest of the community as well. So the Sslyth, let's take a look at what he does in-game, because I honestly really like the Sslyth. Tell you a little secret, I have one and I use him sometimes. So, he is 2 power level. So double the power of a Nurgle and a Lamian, same cost as a Medusa. He is 8 movement. He is weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, so pretty standard stuff over there. He is strength and toughness 5. So he's as tough as a grotesque. And he's as strong as a grotesque. Now that's impressive. He has 3 wounds, and he has 3 attacks. Not too shabby. He's also leadership of 6, and a 5+ armor save. So, nothing crazy. He is 27 points base. He is armed with a shard carbine, which is 0 points, a splinter pistol, which is 0 points, and a Sslyth battle blade, which is 0 points. So, for 27 points, you get a 3 wounded, toughness 5, strength 5, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, combat-y character. Pretty cool. He's like a little beefy, he's not a character, he's a beefy little unit. He's not bad. 20, it's about 8 points a wound or something like that. So you're looking at, 8 points a wound. It's not terrible, it's not horrible. You're looking at it's a little less efficient than a grotesque itself, but pretty good for a tiny little model that has some pretty decent war gear. So the Shard Carbine is an 18-inch Assault 3 poison weapon. So 3 shots at 18 inches. Not too bad. Splinter pistol, standard 12-inch one-shot poison pistol. And the Sslyth battle blade. It's a melee weapon that has strength of users, so strength 5. It's -1 AP and 1 damage. It's just a -1 AP sword. That's not bad. It's pretty standard. He's like an all-rounder. Now the cool thing is his toughness 5 and strength 5, which means he can really kind of get stuck in if he needs to. Now he does a few abilities. The first is Court of the Archon, which is standard in all of the Court of the Archon models. He can reroll all failed to-hit rolls within 3 inches of an Archon. Now this is any to-hit rolls, ranged and combat. So he's hitting on 3s, shooting, rerolling misses. He's hitting on 3s in combat, rerolling any misses, as long as the Archon is around to kind of keep him in line, right, guys? So that is the Sslyth itself. In addition, if it's Battleforged, they don't take any slots in your army as long as there's an Archon. And in matched play, you can only take 4 of them per every Archon that you have, essentially. Now this, of course, I've gone into detail about this. I'm not a fan of this rule. I feel like it should be may take up a slot, not does not at all, because then there's no option. I feel being able to take up a slot and fill up a brigade or a detachment with elites would be kind of cool. An Archon and his cronies being a detachment to go down and kill some stuff, which would be nice. Now, he does have a few more rules than your average Court of the Archon models. The next one is Insensible to Pain. Now, it has a 5+ invulnerable save. This is the same rule that Rax have, Rax and Homunculi. Now, he doesn't get the Coven Obsession, so he wouldn't be able to get a 4+ from Prophets of Flesh, but it's the same exact rule as the Rax, which is pretty cool. And he has a rule called Cold-Blooded Bodyguard. So roll a d6 each time a friendly Archon loses a wound whilst they're within 3 inches of this model. On a 2+, this model intercepts that hit. The Archon does not lose a wound, but this model suffers a mortal wound. It's not too bad. So it's a great little way to kind of keep your Archon alive for a little bit longer. It's like 3 extra wounds for your Archon. If he's taking some mortal wounds or something that gets through a shadow field or whatnot. Kind of bounce wounds off of the Sslyth. Can be handy in a pinch. Not super reliable, not the best sort of bounce-off rule that we've seen in 8th edition, because it's per wound lost by the Archon, so you roll damage, and that's kind of how many wounds, and then you can allocate them off. There's other ones that are better, like the Tau ones and things that are just like entire wounds before damage, they just disappear. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. Will keep your Archon alive longer. Faction keywords, Eldar Drukhari Cabal, so will benefit from any and all obsessions that you might have for the Cabal. And keywords are Infantry, Court of the Archon, and Sslyth. So, unless you want to run a Sslyth party bus, which is 2 Archons, 8 Sslyth in a Raider, which we're very entertaining to say the least, Sslyth is a great little addition to your collection. It's a cool model to paint and build. He's tough, can really hit hard in combat, and surprises people with how resilient he is. He also gets in the way of any damage that someone might want to do to your Archon, which means, somebody has to dedicate some firepower to get rid of the Sslyth before really focusing on your Archon. Now, he's not a character, which is pretty cool. Means that you can keep the Sslyth closer out of line of sight of the enemy than your Archon and keep your Archon not targetable. You know, if the Sslyth is closer to the Archon, to the enemy than the Archon, they have to kill the Sslyth before they can target your characters. So that's kind of neat, you know, and something to keep in mind. It also doesn't give any character points, like kill a character, things like that, which means that his death isn't going to be that much of a big deal as it used to be when somebody would kill a character and then he'd kill all your Court of the Archon and they were all dead. That's no longer a thing, which is cool. So let me know how you have used your Sslyth in a real space raid. I usually only take one because I only own one, but if you think that taking a bunch of them would be kind of cool, let me know. You know, do you take the Sslyth party bus? That'd be a lot of points and a lot of kill points. But I feel like they could do some work and do some damage in combat and in shooting because of the rerolls that the Archons would give them. So really, you know, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. A huge shout out to all the Patreons to the channel. I do have a Patreon page. Check the link down below. If you're not a Patreon yet, join the community. You get exclusive content and access to our really tightly knit community, chat, Facebook group, and all the other cool stuff that I do, like exclusive videos. So if you'd like more content or just want to help what I do here, check the link down below. After all, I'm Skari, your grateful host, and I'll see you next time on the next unit by unit video review. Thanks a lot for watching. Skari out. Oh, the Darkkin.
Exclusive. We're playing the game.